will last forever. Together forever. This will last forever. Join together when God is joined together. Nothing or no one can put us under. This will last forever. Together forever. This will last forever. Join together when God is joined together. Nothing or no one can put us under. This will last forever. Together forever. This will last forever. Join together when God is joined together. Nothing or no one can put us under.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Marriage and Ministry, and the two shall become one. Listen, go ahead and start sharing it, invite people in, because y'all know this is a time where we get together to encourage one another, not just in marriage, but in relationships. So shout out to my singles who watch the Marriage and Ministry show, and shout out to those who are married and you glean from the show to get counsel, encouragement, comfort in marriage. I'm excited today about my guests. They are no strangers to the area, not just the area of Rocky Mount, but I'm talking about just in the area of relationship, community, selfless service. I have the pleasure of talking with today none other than Pastor TJ Walker and his lovely wife, Lady Bree. Hey, y'all.
How you doing?
So thank y'all for coming on the show. You know, I want to, just say thank you for having this conversation with me, because I know when you start talking about relationships and your own, that you all are in front of people enough. So thank y'all for that. People see your life enough, but just to take the time out today to encourage people in their relationships, I want to say thank you. So we're gonna jump right into it. And I want to just ask you all, how did you get to marriage? What's your story? You know, like are y'all college sweethearts?
You call it?
College sweethearts?
No, not college sweethearts.
Oh.
Nah. I like to tell the story.
Okay, you tell it.
Yeah, so basically, Bree slid in my DMs after college. So she was my college RA. She was my college RA for summer school one summer. Mm-hmm. And after graduation, maybe 2 years or so afterwards, she slid in my DMs, and the rest was history.
So she did the sliding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What made you slide? If that is the accurate version of the story, which you didn't correct him, so I'm assuming, you know, and he a pastor, and he, you know, I know he about that truth.
Okay.
So what made you do the sliding? What was it about Pastor TJ that you're like, oh wow, I can get with him?
The biggest thing that he's talking about when it comes to sliding in the DMs, I was enjoying watching him be a family-oriented man. I would see Talib and Tazian a lot in his story, but then it was really Snapchat at that point. And so I would Snapchat, just really desiring, you know, family in general, but really liked how he had attention and focus on Tazian and Talib.
Okay. So my boy, his real name is Tazian. Mm-hmm. Wow, you know he's all the time.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Mm-hmm. So you all had a family. You came into a family then.
Yes.
And so what was that like?
At first I was like, this, you know, I was extremely happy, came in like, this is what I want to do. This is what, you know, family is going to look like. But I had to realize that actually I was coming to a situation that had already, you know, flourished in its own way.
Yeah.
And so I had to take a step back and kind of see everybody else's perspective, whether it was Tazian, it was Talib, or even TJ's perspective. But overall, I was excited about being a part of and creating our own family.
Yeah, that's good. And I know that you talked about seeing TJ on campus or just seeing him in general, how he interacted with the boys. So TJ, let's talk about that a little, because I know statistics show that 60% of African American males are raised in a single mother home. I'm sorry, and it's probably higher than that when you get to certain parts of the state. And so, why was that important for you to be present in your boy's life? And then, did you even know that is what attracted Bree to you?
I didn't know then that's what attracted her. We found that out later. But just knowing that I had my father in my life, my granddad in my life, uncles, great uncles. There was always mentors, role models, coaches. I always had male role models and male figures in my life. So I wanted to make sure that, I felt it was an obligation. Like this, it never crossed my mind as like, this is what you're not supposed to do.
Wow.
It was always this is what you're supposed to do. So both of their mothers, I let them know, hey, we've got boys gotta. I don't even think we had the conversation with any of my son's mothers. I just took them.
It was just automatic.
Yeah. They just. So,
they mine. You here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in their life. Yeah.
That's it.
So that's good.
It's been that way since 18.
Yeah. So that is so good. Now, when you think about, because you saw him with the boys on the college campus.
No, this was after I graduated, so this was more so after I had graduated. So I graduated a year before him, so I didn't start seeing it really into social media.
Oh, okay.
So it was not on campus. Now, he did have Todd on campus from my understanding, but I did not see that part of his life.
And so when you all think about your journey and you and the boys chilling, doing life, being the father, Bree comes in. What was, if there were any challenges in the beginning that you both had to work through, and you may still be working through those, so that you can become a part of what was already established? What was
this is we're going on year 7 now.
Oh, wow.
So Ty's going on 14, Talib's he's 11, turning 12. So half of their life, it was nobody but us.
Yeah.
So we've had to live this half of their life with, okay, we got a wife now. They don't even call her stepmom or anything.
Yeah.
They just call her Bree.
Yeah.
So at first, like Bree said, it was, at first it was cool. Then maybe year 2, I think it just like everything fell apart. It was like, what's going on? If it could happen, it did happen. And so I think we're just getting to the place now in year 7, we're trying to figure out, it took all this time. And really, I don't think we never really intentionally like just looked at it like we need to take time to figure out what's everybody's place and role. It was just like the constant continuation of life.
Yeah, because life happens. Life
happens.
don't stop.
It doesn't stop.
It's not.
Right.
Yeah.
It don't stop.
It don't stop.
But you said something, and I'm gonna say Pastor TJ, because I feel like you dropped a sermon point on us about stuff takes time.
Yeah.
And even though you may not be intentional about putting those pieces together, it takes time. And so sometimes it can be unfair to think it's supposed to all happen at once. Everybody growing in this. The boys have a new experience. You have, you're trying to be the father who really focused on them. Now you have to divide your attention to your wife. And then Bree, you're trying to come in to figure out where you fit in this made puzzle that they had made, and it was working for them. But it takes time. Do y'all still see that, even though we may have jumped over another hurdle, in marriage in general, it's an ever-growing process.
Yeah. I think even for me, and I was actually talking to TJ about this last night, especially when it comes to blended family. So for me, it was more so of like I had this idea of how I want things to go. Never been in a marriage before. Let's not even talk about trying to blend a family. So I had this idea, and so I was trying to push and mesh this and match my idea to where it was almost selfish. Well, it was selfish of me to say, hey, this is what I want, this is what I desire, not even being considerate of how it impacted the boys, how it impacted TJ, and even really how it took us, because of that character of mine, why it's taken us so long to get to where we are right now.
Yeah. And I think about when 1 Corinthians 13 talking about love doesn't insist on its own way. And so I'm sure that you're not the only one, because I know that was my story too, that I had an idea that I insisted on. And I didn't give Jason the grace to grow in who he was becoming, because the truth of the matter is he was God's son before he was my husband. And so the Lord had established something for him that sometimes we don't even take time out to learn that. What has already been established in heaven. Let me come alongside of that. We come in with a weight. And so congratulations on making it to year 7. When is your anniversary?
So we got so many anniversaries.
I knew you was going to say. July the 6th is actually when we got married at our house.
Yeah.
October the 21st is when we had our wedding ceremony.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why he said we have so many. We get to celebrate multiple times.
We celebrate both.
Yeah.
Yeah. So July 6th when y'all got married, and then it'd be 8. So y'all coming on up to 8 years.
No, this is 7, right?
7 years.
You're
7
coming
years.
up to 7 years. So what are you looking forward to with the new knowledge you have? Because I know, you know, just from how I've interacted with you all, I know you've grown, because we naturally grow. What are you looking forward to now in year 7, you know, beginning this, going into 8 years, but with this new knowledge? You're looking forward to what?
What'd you say?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think going into this year, this is going into year 8, right?
No, you're 7, right?
This is going
So
into
you're
year
ending
7.
a 7.
Okay.
You're ending 7 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like Bree said, she told me maybe this might have been a couple months or so ago. She was talking the significance of spiritual significance of 7 and what that means, and to be complete, and you know, so I think it doesn't mean our marriage is complete, but I think we're coming into a season where, like, one of my favorite words, and I don't hate to be biblical, but one of my favorite words of seeing in the Bible is like reveal.
Reveal.
God
Yes.
will reveal. So that means, to me, something will be shown, or you will see. Like, you may not see it now, but you will see. So it will happen. So I think for me, one of the probably most important things that I want to be able to experience with the new knowledge is just to experience marriage through this process, but then also being able to like enjoy some of the fruit of what we've gone through.
Yeah.
You know, seeing how, like, you know, nobody really likes processes, but it's like I'm ready to see, like, all right, you went through this in order to see this.
Right,
Or, you know,
exactly.
not that it's something, because it's not always something that like we're gonna tangibly have, but like you're gonna see, like that revealing is like you're gonna see this through something. Whether it's like business opportunity, or which is something we've seen now, or whether it's something through just like, I don't know, friends that I have that are first time, like parents weren't married, but they're first generation, you know, couples or whatever.
Right.
Asking for marriage advice and marriage counseling, like, you know, it's evidence that of the God will reveal, like you will see. So
You will see.
there's some things that I think will be revealed
Yeah.
in this year, that based on some things we've gone through in the 7 years.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, and I love that,
Great.
TJ, because it with it being revealed, that does not necessarily mean, like you said, that it just became. It's just when we became aware of it. Like it was always there. Like it was always in you. It was always y'all's purpose. But now, through time, through experience, through knowledge, our eyes, or even people's eyes, are open. They may look at y'all like, oh wow, we ain't never thought about that when it comes to Bree and TJ. But they're just now seeing it, or the Lord is allowing us to see it. And so that's what makes it exciting. What are you encouraged about or looking forward to?
I think mine is more so of like continuous oneness, or like a increase of oneness, like, because that doesn't happen over time. I mean, that doesn't happen like in just one day. But I think you can continue to grow in oneness. So I think that's my excitement about going into another year of marriage, like the increase of oneness, the strength of it, the joy of it, the blessings of it, all those different things of just becoming more in unit together. Not to say that when you have an argument or when you have a disagreement, you're not in one. It's just that that's the strength of it. You are growing in that as you are communicating or whatever the case is. But mine is oneness.
That's good.
Yep.
And so we talked about the boys, but y'all have a little princess. You know, y'all have a daughter. And so Pastor TJ is a pastor. He's a councilman. Director of WeFit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Bree, you are I don't know if you call it a principal or the director. You are just kind of, you have I always want to say second wind, but that was just the theme
of it
of that year. But that is just stuck with me. So you have ministry that you're doing as well that the Lord is doing. How do y'all find y'all rhythm, or are you still looking for it?
No,
It's a lot.
I think every year there's like a different regroup of like, all right, this is what we're gonna try to do. You know, let's take a certain amount of days where you need to be home at this time. We reevaluate it every year. Never really stick to it. You know, probably might do good a week or two. You know, and before the month's out, you're looking back like, hey, you know, which Bree's done a great job of just trying to reel us back in. Like, you know, we've gone 2 weeks without sticking to this. You know, she used to let it get 3 or 4 months. You know, and then she just mad, exploding. But she's done a great job of just allowing, as she calls it, her inner work. You know, she does her inner work. You know, not to say I don't have no work to do. I got a lot of work to do, but she does the inner work to just keep us, you know, where we need to be as far as time. And but yeah, we haven't found it. I don't know how you find it. Yeah, I don't know how you find it, but what we have started doing is the time we have, we make sure that if that looks like, you know, it's probably bad, but if that looks like, you know, playing Monopoly till midnight on a school night, you know, knowing the kids got school. Or,
just taking
you know,
it, Because I got so tickled when I saw Talib walking up from the baseball field with Jace. And I was like, oh, he played baseball too.
Yeah, first time, he never played baseball in
and
his
that's
life.
what Jace was telling me. He was like, oh yeah, he tried out and he made the team. And I'm like, so then, sure enough, 2 days later, I saw you whipping to get him right behind me. So even adding their schedule to the dynamics really makes it hard to find that rhythm and that balance. But TJ said something that was good. Take advantage of the time that you do have. Like make that count. Make it count. If the boys were sitting on the stage and they were talking about, you know, the rhythm dynamics, what do you think they would say they most appreciate about your union?
No telling.
No telling.
What they would say.
I was about to say, Bree reads them a lot better than me.
I know they would say, Ty is me, and Talia and Talib are TJ. And that's just more so in like personality. But I would say that they probably, if Tazian would really think about it, he would probably say that it creates a great balance. Like, I'm the more like, this is how things have to go, clean your room, and TJ like, yeah, they'll get to, get to it type thing. Or I told them they can wait a second. So it's a great balance in how we do life together. I'm more so A, he, Z. We are totally different, but we make it work. And I think that, I'm trying to think of what else they would say.
Talib would probably just say, it's cool.
Yeah.
And Talia.
Yeah, Talia, she would come up with something to say.
Yeah, she'll come up with something.
She'll try to make her a sentence or something. She'll come up with something.
Yeah.
Do you have any children that are like, oh yeah, she's a daddy's girl, or oh yeah, I see why he's TJ's best friend, or like you said, me and Ty, we rock because we have the same personality. Do you see, as they're growing into themselves, where y'all have to use different strategies or be intentional, but individually? like the whole group thing may not be working right now because they're really coming into their own selves.
Yeah, I think even TJ has taught me that because when I came in, everybody, we getting the same equal treatment. This is how we doing things. This is how I grew up. And then just watching him deal with every last one of them differently and it's working. That's just how we handle the kids. It's fruitful. Like he may take one of them out or go play the game with another one or run around the house with Talia or sit her down. It's just different methods that just work extremely well for
How
kids.
did you come into that knowledge, TJ?
I think my parents and grandparents did a good job with it. But then also just, I was telling Bree this, like all my life I've always been around kids. So like from growing up in church, it was, you know, youth department, youth. You know, once you were out of that, it was like you're gonna now be a youth leader, counselor, youth camps. My mom, my uncle, they had youth programming similar like to what I do with WeFit. So I was always around that and always seeing people that just was a part of youth development and interaction. So I think it was just sort of like just a God-given gift, really.
Yeah.
I haven't done any studies or work about it. It's just
wow.
it's been about experiences.
Yeah, that's good. So experience is the best teacher. So I want to take it all the way back. When you slid into the DM, you knew why you wanted to connect with him. What was it about her that made you respond and say, oh, okay, let me respond to this?
I think at the time I was like trying to settle into, all right, you know, TJ, it's time now you got 2 kids, you know, you preaching, you know, different things are going on. It's time to settle into, you know, some stability, you know. But during that process, I probably, like in life, I had really never dated until, you know, maybe until Bree, really. You know,
wow.
Never really had dated. So I started to try the dating thing, you know. So
dating thing, yeah.
Prayed, was like, God, you know, all right. Kind of put him to a test of like I'm gonna go through this trial, you know, of dates, you know. So I'm going out to dinner with this girl or something's happened with this and something, and like it just never would stick. Ended up, Bree, I think, when she finally did reach out or something, I responded and I'm like, I'm coming to Charlotte, you know, I'm gonna be in the area. Let's go out.
Oh, wow.
She swerved me. So I was like, all right, maybe that's not it. And something happened to where, I don't know if I was there extra day or something. I don't even remember how, but we ended up
connecting.
going on a date and the rest was history.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how long did y'all date before you got married?
6 months.
6 months, yeah.
Oh, so that wasn't long. That wasn't long.
Nah, it wasn't long at all.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And so you moved from Charlotte to Rocky Mount.
I did.
So that is 2 different types of environments.
Absolutely.
So you moved from Charlotte to Rocky Mount. You moved from Charlotte to Rocky Mount with the guy that you really had only gotten to know for 6 months. And then you moved from Charlotte to Rocky Mount with the guy you have only gotten to know for 6 months with a established family. What, what did you have to, that's a lot.
What's the question?
I don't know what the question is. I don't even know what the question is. It was like, I'm still trying to process.
I know, because you said a lot.
That's a lot. Because, I think about, I moved from Greensboro to Rocky Mount. But I didn't have the dynamics of, the blended family. But still, and then me and Jason rocked for 5 years in college, and we decided to try to get serious. And so I just know the Greensboro to Rocky Mount part was difficult to me after I had all of this longevity and, other things. And so I can kind of imagine you had a lot of learning curves.
Absolutely. I think even just our beginning stage of dating, he came very strong like nobody. Like the effort, the intentionality, the time, like very consistent, like of just like creating a routine of like, of course we're working throughout the week, but on the weekends, I'm gonna make sure I shoot down to see you or whatever the case is. So it made it very hard for me to Like I was so focused on the feeling of what I was able to receive from just the intentionality to work, because I had never experienced it before. So when I came to Rocky Mount and now we are trying to blend and join and stuff like that, even thinking about how that is now shared, because when he would come down to Charlotte, if you know, Taziana and Talib, they weren't tagging along with him to come. It was more so of just the focus and attention on, you know, what we had going on. So it was definitely a big learning curve for the both of us, because even he, I don't know if he would say it, but it was probably a challenge for him too, of just saying, okay, like this is what I do on the weekends, but now that we're saying this is what we want to do as, you know, a couple and, you know, move towards marriage, how do I manage this now? Because this is what I'm used to. I'm used to riding down the highway. I'm used to it just being, you know, me and her. And now I'm trying to figure out how do we do this all together.
Right. So that is, that's really good. So we'll transition, because we only have like 5 minutes left, but we'll before we transition, I do want to hit the ministry part, because TJ brought up, you know, he's been preaching for a while, you know, just in church. What is one piece of advice that you would give to someone who is a blended family, who's just kind of trying to find that rhythm that you may not ever find? You're trying to find the time that may not be there. You're trying to learn each other, which could take a lifetime. What is one piece of advice that you would give them?
I think on my side, you just can't go in selfish, you know, and you really have to know what you are walking into, and have a really good self-reflection of, like, you know, what's negotiable and what's non-negotiable to you. Gratefully that I wasn't like too selfish with, like, I'm like, yo, I just want him and, you know, not the kids, where I don't even want to, you know, the marriage anymore. But I think that for somebody to actually go into a marriage and have kids and try to figure all this out, you really have to be intentional about and know who you are. Like, if you are a person that likes attention to be on you all the time, or if you have a hard time adjusting, if all the things, then you're gonna struggle. And if you don't figure it out, then you're gonna struggle.
You're gonna struggle. You, TJ?
Yeah, you're gonna struggle anyway.
Yeah, that's
yeah, like Bree said, just piggyback, just know who you are, and everything else is, I mean, pray, of course, but as you pray, you know, it's work to figure out, like that. And one thing too that I'm slack on, and one of my weaknesses is knowing it's a problem, but don't stop to try to address it or figure it out. You know, I just try to keep rolling, which Bree's, you know, she's teaching me, and I'm learning a lot of, like, hey, you know, you always can't do that with everything. Right. You know, sometimes you really got to stop and be like, all right, this is a problem, and figure out how to work through it. So, but, you know, at the end of the day, you're a team, and that's the most important. And the goal on the team is, how do we all win?
That's true.
Figure that out.
Yeah. How do we all win? And so with the last 5 minutes, we won't be able to dive into this conversation. So y'all may have to come back. I don't know, because we're not going to have the time. But you've been preaching for how long? Or preaching in ministry, pastoring collectively for how long?
I've been bootleg preaching for a long time. I was ordained I was licensed in 2014.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I didn't get ordained until 2019.
2019. Oh, okay. And so you've had several pastor roles, and now you are serving in the senior pastor capacity.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you, because there are a lot of elements to ministry. People need you in ministry. I'm sure a lot of people are always tugging at you. And then you have your children, you have your wife, you have your family, you have all those things. What is your strategy to kind of cover your family in all of that?
The main thing, I think, is learning how to so I pastor a traditional church, and traditional churches really don't have systems that are conducive of delegating. So trying to duplicate people, you know, so the pastor doesn't have to because traditional church, everybody's looking at the pastor like for everything.
Right.
You know? So trying to move the ministry to a place where they understand, hey, no, God has equipped you to lead in this area and that area. And that alone just frees up, you know, time and space for the family. But just constantly praying,
Yeah.
praying for the family. Some things I don't expose the family to, but then there's some things I do expose the family to, because I think if they see it, especially the kids, if they see it just like I saw it, it exposes them to it and helps them in their gifts and their callings too, and they'll know, like, nah, this is not me, or it is me. And
Right.
for Bree, there's some things I can tell her that happens, and there's some things I know, her being my wife, I can't share with her, because
Right.
you just have to. I've had an opportunity to be around it all of my life, so just try to learn from mistakes I've seen, and growing up, as a PK, just seeing some things that I wish I maybe not I wouldn't have saw, or areas that I did see, glad I saw.
Yeah.
So I try to use those practices to learn from those mistakes, and from the wins, just build on those.
Yeah.
Do the same with my family, and it's working.
That's good.
Yeah. Like you said earlier, it's work, but it's
It's
work.
work.
Yeah,
It's
a lot of work.
And and I don't want to suggest that it's more work because you're a pastor or because y'all in ministry. Marriage in general, it is work. So, because marriage is ministry, and so ministry is work. So, Bree, what do you do to to make sure that you stay in position to be the helpmate to Pastor CJ in that role, understanding, like he said, people want to see the pastor, they want to talk to the pastor, they want the pastor to show up to their son's games while his son has one, or they want the pastor to be at the hospital with them while he may need to be home resting. How do you try to really help and compliment him in that role?
The main one is like prayer. Because sometimes, like, in the movement of just trying to serve people, you don't want to hear "don't help" or "take a minute, slow down," because your heart is to serve. Your heart is to be there and help other people. So the main thing now is just like, I pray that God, you give him wisdom and the knowledge to be able to settle himself, or to make good, sound decisions on when I should go left or when I should go right. And then there are some times where I will whisper, like, hey, I think this or that. And majority of the time when I think about what it is that I need to say, then it's the right thing to say. If I'm just impulsive about it and I'm in my feelings about, okay, you got to move again for whatever the case is, then it doesn't help the process. It doesn't help. So the main thing is just covering him in prayer, and then even just really supporting with the kids, because it's a lot of moving pieces. So just making sure home is good while everything else is flowing.
That's really good. Listen, we are out of time, but I want to thank y'all so much for just coming on Marriage and Ministry and sharing with the audience. Listen, I know you all appreciate their time, their transparency, the truth they told us. So go ahead and write in the comments and type in the comments. Go ahead and put those clapping hand emojis. And look, we want to make sure that we cover the Walkers in their marriage, because one of the things I wanted to talk about, we don't have time, is how we as a community need to be more mindful of guarding marriage in general, and just being more mindful that, that people who are married or not just married, we need to be more mindful of each other, period, and what people have going on, and covering that and not adding another burden, a layer of burden on that. But we don't have time to talk about that. Maybe they'll come back and we can talk about that next time. Any last piece of counsel, advice, any last words you want to leave with the Marriage and Ministry audience?
For anybody that wants to get married, don't be afraid of marriage. Start it with God and stick with God in it. Don't leave him out of it. And those that are in marriage and you're struggling, it's a part of that. So there is no marriage without it, but there's also a place where you overcome it too, and you can celebrate some of that struggle. But
I also say
it's worth it.
I'm sorry. I also say Mike Todd, he wrote something. It was like I hope our generation gets to a point where they invest in something good and not perfect. And that hit me like, I'm looking for perfection or but like if you can look for something good, you know, if you can look for the things that are value, those things then and not continue to keep your mind on perfection, you'll never find that. So you'll never be happy.
Right.
So if you could just invest your time in knowing if he's good, you invest in that. You don't invest in perfection because that's not there. There's only one perfect.
Right.
So
right. That's good. Yeah. Listen, Lady Bree said it. Invest in something good and don't strive for perfection because you're just going to be frustrated. Mm-hmm. So thank you for investing your time into watching Marriage and Ministry today, and I hope that you see fruit from this. You're able to apply some nuggets that the walkers dropped on us, and we pray that you will have a testimony that you see a return on your investment. Listen, we'll continue to cover your marriage in prayer. We'll continue to cover you in prayer. Mm-hmm. If you have a prayer request, type it in the comment section so that we can, when we look at this, if you're looking at the recording or days later, we still want to make sure you have someone that's on your side. We want you to win. Like Pastor TJ said, listen, we're all in this together, and the goal is to win. So we want you to win, and we'll be praying for you. Tune in next time as I'll have another guest for Marriage and Ministry, but we'll keep talking about this relationship thing so that God's glory can be revealed through all of us. You enjoy your day and your relationships. Enjoy the people that the Lord has blessed you with.
No one can prove